So it's the first day of February today, and it's not really very spring-like, and spring is still a few weeks away. But the ewes are out. They've all been shorn about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they've been out for a week. And we haven't had a lot of rain, but it's a bit windy today. I'll try to get under the hedge, but I think probably still going to have a bit of wind noise. This field here is about 5.5 acres. Now I've videoed every time I put the sheep in here last year from the middle of April, and made a video of that, and I'm going to do the same this year. So there's been no sheep in here actually since the beginning of October, and the grass grew pretty well in October and into November, and then it stopped in December. We had a cold spell and it actually went away. There was more grass here probably the end of November than what there is now, but it has sort of been my plan to leave it till now, and it's sort of in stockpile situation. So instead of making silage, which I could have done with a field, maybe not this one but another field, and feeding them the silage, I sort of left the grass in situ, and there's a fair bit here, and so there's 56 sheep there, and they're going to come in, and I've given them, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to give them sort of a quarter of an acre a day, but I've fenced it here now, and I'm going to give them a bit more than that for the first day and just see how it goes. So you see them, they're not hungry. If they were hungry, they'd come in and put their heads down and go eating straight away. There it goes. So I split this next paddock in half, and I'm going to give them half today, and then this evening I'll let them down to the bottom half. I'll see if they eat that differently to what they did yesterday. If not, then obviously I don't need to do that, but it took me like 2 minutes to put the fence across the middle. It's only 20 metres across. It's the 6th of February today, and I've been here for 5 days. This is where I've moved them into on the 1st. They were here for a day, and so they came out 4 days ago, and you can see the regrowth. A couple of inches over this patch. I gave them quite a big bit on the first day, and then they are down there now. So they've moved this way, and I'm going to bring them back through the middle. I've split the field again. So this is where they were on the 2nd, and you can see regrowth here as well. And what I did from the 2nd onwards, I split them daytime and nighttime in half, and so they were up on this top bit daytime, and the lower bit there, you can see the line between. It was a wet day, this one. We didn't have very much rain actually, only about a mil of rain, but they did make it a little bit more messier, and we haven't had any rain since. And I think it might be a bit more grass down this end of the field, so I've been getting smaller and smaller. So here they came out of this 2 days ago, and again you can still see a little bit of regrowth actually. It's not been warm. We did have a sunny day yesterday, but we had a little bit of frost last night. You still see a bit of frost here. Not hot, not very hard. I didn't think it went below freezing, but we did have frost. And then this is where they were yesterday, so I only took them out of this bit last night. Can't see any regrowth on this yet, but there is quite a bit of grass here still. Actually, they didn't eat it that well. And this is where they just have been overnight, which is just against this wall. We're right up against the village here now. This patch here now, so I've fenced it in half, but it's just under a quarter of an acre now. I've sort of paced it out, and I've worked out there's about 900. I mean, I know my pace is about a metre if I do a decent stride. So it's only an estimate, but about 900 square metres in total. I've given them a little bit more than half for the day session, and then I'll let them up onto this bit this evening between 5 and 1/2 so that they've got like 8 or 9 hours lower side, and then they'll stay up there until tomorrow. They don't eat so much overnight. They tend to, they'll fill up now, and they'll be hungry tonight when I put them up there, but then they'll just lie down up there. So this is a lot smaller than what they've been on, but they're in pretty good condition. They don't need unlimited amounts of grass at this point of their pregnancy, so I'm just going to try and restrict them a little bit to, well, probably I'll try and do about 1/4 of an acre. This is a bit smaller, but I'll see what it's like tomorrow. Might give them 1/4 acre again tomorrow, but you know, that's the beauty of it. You know, if you get it wrong one day, you just give them a bit more the next day, or a bit less the next day, and it's just every day is trial and error. But there we go, they've been there sort of almost 8 hours now, and that little patch, they've done a pretty good job on it. It's been dry, so, and sunny. We've had a bit of a keen old east wind blowing as well, which has been a bit chilly, but they aren't taking any notice of that now. They're dry and they've got bellies full. So you can see where they've been. They haven't, you know, I wouldn't say they'd eaten it into the ground. Certainly not. They could have eaten it a lot tighter. I don't think I need them or want them to eat it any tighter than that. I think that's just about right. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to try and let them through now. Obviously I'm going to let them through here. It's going to be into a fairly small piece, and it is a metal strand up there, and they're running into the sun. So that's what they're looking at, and they haven't got very far to go to get to the wire. So I might let them through at the other end. At least then they're running towards the hedge. They're more likely to see the post, maybe. It's just something to think about. And I haven't actually had them run through a wire before, but I've not run them into such a small area as this before. Go on then, girls. So they do like to run when we come in. They don't exactly see the fence, and we could have problems, but it's not on obviously. Turned it off so I could move it, but there we go. It was alright. So yeah, it seemed to work out okay on that small patch. So I've given them another. I'm pretty sure this is another 1/4 of an acre again today. So I think they had 1/4 of an acre yesterday. I think they've got 1/4 of an acre again today. And as long as it stays dry, I think that's going to work out fine. So probably pick this up again at the end of the week when I get down the other edge of the other end of the field. Here we are, 2 weeks later. It's the 21st now, and this is where they were the first day. So we've got some regrowth. They were here on the 1st, so it was 19 days since they left this pot, and then they went that way, and then they came back over this side and went back that way again in the middle, and now they're coming back the other way on the 3rd side of the field. They did have 4 days over the weekend where it did rain a little bit, and I put them out into the next field, which is only an acre, so they were out there for 4 days. And that's got more solid ground on it. But I'm still giving them 1/4 of an acre a day and splitting it in half, moving them twice a day. That's what I've done over this whole patch. Haven't had any sun for a week, but the week before that was lovely. Then we did have some rain, and there was a patch over here where it was quite wet, and it virtually turned it all to mud. You can see the regrowth here. This is probably 10 days regrowth. And then here it looks darker, and that's where it was they really muddied that up, and that was the day after. So they were here, and then the next day they were there. It does look darker over there, but I don't know if that's anything to do with it being wet, but they really muddied this patch up. And then they were in there, and then they went out to the other field, and there was a 4-day gap, so they were in here yesterday, and they were there 5 days ago, 6 days ago probably, and now they're over here now. So it's all going pretty good. You can see the difference that they are. This is what it all looks like the day after. This is where they were yesterday, and this is where they've been overnight. Oh, girls, all doing pretty good. They eat it down pretty good, and they leave a lot of presents behind for all the ground to utilise. And yeah, they'll be in that little patch in a minute, and then I've got 2 more days left in this field. So I've just moved them, and this is what it's looking like afterwards. And this field's pretty bad actually for docks. There's quite a few docks in this little patch. It's probably the worst part of the field for docks. You can see there's a leaf that's left. They've actually cut that off though. That's not connected. They haven't eaten it, but they pulled it out. And that's what I've found with most of the docks actually. That one's still attached, but they've eaten most of it. And you can see what it pretty much looked like before. So only last night. They've only been in here for that felt 14 hours. So I put them here, well, just literally just put them in here. And you can see the docks. Quite a difference in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The docks have really started to grow. And this is what it looked like before they went in, with all the docks here. So they're doing a good job clearing them up. But, when they come in, they just eat and eat and eat really until they're completely full. It's incredible. You think they're absolutely starving, but I don't know what it is that makes them go so mad for eating as soon as you move them, because they're not really that hungry. Just the fresh grass. It's like a massive fight to get as much grass into them as fast as they can before everybody else eats it, I think. And they're certainly putting on weight and body condition. Not too much yet, I need to worry about it. Obviously they're still about 6 weeks away from lambing, so I don't think they're getting too fat yet. So 24th of February now, and I put the sheep out last night, and this is the spot where they were now 10 days ago. And pretty good regrowth on that, pretty pleased with that. And then you can see the line there, that was 9 days. And then obviously they were out for 4 days into the field next door, which is only an acre. I put them out there because it was wet. I brought them back again, and they've done 4 more days. So this was 4 days ago they came out of here, and you can see the regrowth there. We've actually had a little bit of frost last night. It's not been warm. We've had maybe days get into almost 10, but average probably 7 or 8. Nighttime temperatures have been probably 4. Well, we did have a frost last night. So then this was 3 days ago. I'm picking the fence up now, so I haven't quite finished that yet. I've moved them to the next field. I've actually given them an acre, sorry, half an acre on the next field. It's not quite so much grass in there. But this was 1/4 acre patches a day in this field. So this was 2 days ago. And yeah, you can see there's a regrowth. Not a lot. And then they were in here overnight the night before last, and they had We had 18 mil of rain while they were in this bit, and they pretty trampled it down. They haven't eaten it. It's probably the last bit of the field. It's probably a little bit bigger than a quarter of an acre, this last bit. Trying to see if I can see any regrowth here. Not really. But then the last bit, they were here last night, so I put them into this bit this time yesterday, and they came out last night. This was the last bit they were in on, so they haven't ate these two bits down quite as well. But just for interest, if I just walk down across the field here, I got to try and work out what day this was, but I'm pretty sure they were on this bit here on the 7th day, so probably this 7th or 8th of February they were on this bit here. Not bad regrowth. And then down here, this was the bit they were on the first day, which was the 1st of February. And they're out there now. So here's the line, the difference between the 7th and the 1st. So there's not a massive difference. So it seems to take about 7 or 10 days to grow up its emergency response. And it's starting to get a bit thicker now. It's tillering and it's regrowing. So this has been 3 weeks, but it is February obviously, and it's not like June. But yeah, this bit they were on for a whole day, not half a day, which I don't know if that made much difference. I think it must do a bit. It does start to regrow about 24 hours after they eat it. So yeah, this bit they were only on for half a day then from now on. So there we are. Not quite sure when they'll be coming back here again. They might come back here before they lamb, or they might not, depending on if I need to get them back here by then or not. But we'll see how it goes, and I'll try and keep updated all year on this paddock.